What do you want most out of life? For me, I'm becoming much more aware that freedom is what I want. But there is a problem that we face every single day that money cannot solve. In fact, some of the wealthiest people on the planet are not free because they haven't developed this one habit. I don't think you can truly be free without this habit. But the good news is you can start developing it right now. So if you're ready, let's do this. I want to tell you a story from a few years ago because it describes the problem quite well. I started losing my hair when I was in my early 20s, but it didn't get particularly bad until I was 24. Hair loss is not great, especially when you're so young. I found myself wearing caps more often because I was self-conscious about it, and I was afraid what other people might think. In my overly dramatic mind, I believed this was the end. No one would find me attractive, I'll be depressed, lonely, and then die. It sounds ridiculous saying this now, but we do this type of catastrophizing all the time. Fortunately, I studied some stoicism, so I knew I had to make a decision about what I was going to do. And I became painfully aware of all the marketing and advertisements for hair loss treatment. Here was the solution. Without much hesitation, I ordered a treatment plan from a telehealth platform, and within a couple days, my medication arrived. I eagerly opened up the packaging, read the instructions carefully, and took my first pill. But as I swallowed it, I instantly felt a large sense of regret. Suddenly, I was confronted with a proposition. I could continue taking these pills every single day for the rest of my life and feel this way, just to slow down the rate of my hair loss, or I could go bald. The answer was immediately obvious. I closed the packet, threw it in the bin, walked into the bathroom, grabbed my dad's trimmer, and I shaved it all off. It was done, and I felt free. At the time, I thought it was only because I hated taking medication, but I realize now it was more than that. While hair loss treatment is definitely solving a problem, the subtext of the marketing is there is something wrong with you. Hair loss treatment has become really popular, almost like it's become the new status quo. If you are going bald, here's what you do. That didn't sit well with me. I wasn't going to conform to the status quo. There was nothing wrong with me. This is who I am. This is my reality. I'm not going to hide that. If I did try to hide it, you may not know, but I would. I would know. And that matters most to me than anything else. That's freedom. And so the problem is conformity. If you want to be free, truly free, you need to learn how to offset conformity. But doing so is really difficult because conformity is integral with our lives and history. Humanity would not exist if it were not for conformity. The advantage humankind had throughout all our history is our intelligence and our ability to cooperate at scale, to unite huge numbers of people together for a common goal. We did that through stories, and those stories had rules. Rules gave us guidelines on what is acceptable and what isn't. The rules existed for the greater good of the tribe. If an individual was non-compliant, they risked destroying the cooperative nature of the tribe. And in such high-stakes environments, where it is a matter of life and death, such liabilities were removed. If you were exiled from the tribe, your chances of survival would be slim to none. And so we have evolved to calibrate ourselves to our environment and to the perceived expectations. It's why no one talks loudly in a library. It's why no one does push-ups in a cafe. It's why everyone tends to sit in the same direction on trains, even though the seats are reversible. Wherever there is humans interacting, there is also conformity. It's necessary. It doesn't matter how brilliant you are. If you're not a team player, you won't go far. You cannot do whatever you like. You cannot say whatever you like. You have to care about what other people think of you. The success you have in your relationships and your career depend on it. But there is always two sides to a coin. Conformity becomes a problem when you compromise who you are, what you believe, and what you think because you are afraid of a negative outcome. To put it another way, Conformity creates liars. When your partner or your friend asks you, how do they look in this outfit? And you say good, even though you think they don't, you have lied. They may not know it, but you do. You know. As said by Chris Williamson in his conversation with Alex Hormozi, I could always hear the man in the other room clearing his throat. I felt like an imposter. Of course you'll feel like an imposter, because that's not you. When you lie, you play a character. Think about it this way. The worst thing that can possibly happen to you as a creator is to become successful and gain a following for trying to be someone you are not. Because now you have every motivation in the world to continue playing that character. You cannot be proud of the achievements you've made because they're not yours. They're the characters. And you're afraid that if you show the real you, what you really think, who you really are, it will all come crashing down. The same is true for us in our individual lives as well. What are you hiding because you're afraid of what other people might think? You feel terrible because you're living a life that doesn't align to your values. That's why I shaved all my hair off. I wasn't going to play a character. I wasn't going to be something that I'm not. Since this is a video about conformity, it's probably a good time to give you a framework that I use to build a habit of offsetting conformity. And remember, this is an ideal to strive for. You're not going to be able to satisfy the ideal in every situation all the time. The first step is to build awareness. Often we don't know why we do the things we do or even what we want. It took me literally to swallow a pill to realize that I don't want to take the drugs. I think the best way to build awareness is to listen for feedback. When you say or do things that make you uncomfortable in your own skin, note it down. Listen to that man in the other room. He's got a lot to tell you. And if you're not sure about what to do, ask yourself these two questions. What am I hiding? What would I do if I wasn't afraid? The second step is to build a habit of stating the facts and telling the truth. And here are some ways that you can do this. When someone asks for your opinion, it's because they want to know your opinion. So tell them. Actually tell them what you think. This isn't an excuse to be an arsehole. There are ways to communicate that fosters cooperation without compromising yourself. Don't say things you don't mean. Your words are a gift. And when you give them away, they have no value. Align the things you say with the things you do. If you talk about going to the gym, make sure you go to the gym. I heard somewhere once, you are your truest self when there is no one watching. And I believe this to be true, which is why the "but I will know" philosophy works so well for me. I am by no means perfect. I occasionally do things I know I shouldn't. I won't mention them now because they'll be in future videos, but I have made a commitment to myself to align the things I do with the things I say. I need to constantly remind myself, but I will know. But I will know. Above all else, I am accountable to myself. And while I am concerned about what other people think of me, I am more concerned about what I think about myself. The impactful idea to take away today is you cannot be free if you're compromising yourself out of fear of what you might lose. You cannot be free if you are playing a character because you think that's what other people want. Absolute freedom is when you live a life true to yourself. What are you hiding? What would you do if you weren't afraid? Now cut the hair. Hey friends, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I think you'll also enjoy this one here. It's about the rat race and why you don't need to become rich to escape the matrix. I tried vlogging for the first time and it is a little bit cringe, but the information is solid. So go on, click on it, and as always, see you next time.